This is the answer key for the quiz from 3.7 to 3.8. It was a blue quiz that you took in class. Use this video to check your work. Feel free to fast forward around, skip questions you got right, and really listen to and fix your mistakes here. For the first problem, it says find the slope. We need a formula for that. The slope is rise over run, which is this formula here, change in y over change in x. So it doesn't matter what x1 and y1 are as long as they're together. Doesn't matter what x2 and y2 are as long as they are together. So change in y over change in x then. All right, my y's are -3 minus 6. All right, my x's are 1 minus -4. All right, you are free to use the other order for those. Just make sure that no matter what, you end up with -3 and 6 subtracted and 1 and 4 subtracted in the same order. So -3 minus 6 is -9 up top, and then 1 minus -4 is like adding 4. So we have 5 on the bottom. -9 over 5 is the slope of that first problem. Second one here, again, x1, y1, x2, y2. Feel free to just change the order of the y's if you want, but the way I have it set up, the slope is 4 minus -2 over 3 minus 3. Up top, we get 6. On the bottom, we get 0. We cannot divide by 0. We have the same x-coordinate for these two, which means we have a vertical line, and those have undefined slope. So I'd be looking for the answer of undefined for part B. Part C has the same y-coordinate, so what's going to happen here is we're going to get a 0 again, but the 0 is going to happen on top. 2 minus 2 and 0 minus -3. So we have 0 up top, 3 on the bottom, for a total of 0 for that slope. That's a horizontal line, and horizontal lines have slopes of 0. Over here, we're looking for an equation in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is found right here, y equals mx plus b. So no tricks for this one, really. I'm just going to put the answers directly on the left-hand side here. In slope-intercept form, it's y equals mx plus b. If m is 5, I would write 5x. b is -2, so instead of +2, I'm going to write -2. All right, next one is 1 and 3, respectively. So y equals mx, which is 1 times x. Feel free to write the 1 if you want. You also don't need to since it's a 1. It's kind of assumed that that's there. And then +3. This one I'll do as 2 steps. Over here we would have y equals 0x plus 4, but really that 0x, 0 times anything, is just going to cancel out. So for my final answer, I would write y equals 4. That's also going to be a horizontal line. Okay, something with a slope of 0. All right, next group is about point slope form. Write an equation in point slope form. Here's that form up here. The most common mistake with these would be minus signs. So really check those minus signs as you work. Okay. Over here, I have an x1 and a y1. I'm already given the slope is -2. So in the formula, I'll write it again here just so you can see it on the screen. We take the y1 and we subtract it from y. So y1 is a positive 8 this time, so it's going to look negative in the final answer. Y minus 8 is equal to, this is where the slope goes, m, -2 times x minus 3, since 3 is the x1 coordinate. Okay? Here we have a slope of -4. x1 is +1, y1 is -3. When I subtract -3 from y, it's going to change my sign into a +3. That's the only way you get a positive in these answers is if you put a negative answer in. Equals, the slope is -4, and I'm going to do x minus a +1, so that's going to stay negative. Last one, slope of negative 3/4. Again, I have y minus a negative 3, so y plus 3 equal to a slope of negative 3/4 times x minus a positive 8, which will look negative in my answer. Okay, that's all the 3/7 stuff. 3/7 is just using those equations and plugging things in the right way. 4 through the rest, number 4 through the rest of this quiz is all going to be important, and it pertains to 3-8. So this one, a couple things that you need to point out to yourself as you read. It says write an equation in point-slope form. So I might copy down that form right away so I remember what my answer should look like. Okay? The other thing that you need to figure out from the problem is, am I doing a perpendicular problem or a parallel problem? That tells me how to treat the slope. Okay? This is a perpendicular problem, which means I'm going to do some opposite reciprocal. And then another thing to point out or find is the equation that they gave you. Okay? They gave us an equation of y equals negative 2x. The slope in there is negative 2. The slope that is perpendicular to negative 2 is flipping that, so you can treat this as 1 to negative 2 over 1 if you want. The perpendicular slope to that is positive 1/2. So this is the slope I need to use this time. If it would have said parallel, I would have kept it as negative 2. Then I have to just figure out, oh, I have an x1 and a y1 also given to me. That needs to make it into my final answer. So with that, I'm going to plug everything in. Y minus y1, which is 6, is equal to the slope that I need, which is 1/2, times x minus negative 4 will look like positive 4 at the end. Okay, that's a test type question. Another test type question, they give you the points with no slope. We do need to write this one in slope-intercept form in just a second. All right, this is a parallel problem, and then they give us a point. So we have an x1 and a y1. First thing we need to do, whether it's slope-intercept or point-slope, is we need the slope. So I'm going to take my 2 points here and find the slope between them. So that would be subtracting the y's, 2 minus negative 8 up top, subtracting the x's, 4 minus negative 2 on the bottom. This is 2 plus 8 or 10, and 4 plus 2 or 6. That needs to simplify. I need the simplest form of all slopes that you would give me on a test. From there, what we get to do is pick the point that it has to go through, which is 0, 6. When they give us a point and we have a slope, we're going to use point-slope form. So y minus 6 equals 5/3 times x minus 0. They want this in slope-intercept form, and that's where this comes into play. I need to convert this into slope-intercept form. This would be an acceptable answer if it asked for point-slope. But in order to get into slope-intercept form, we distribute. So we have y minus 6 equals 5/3 x. And then 5/3 times negative 0 is just 0. Now I can add 6 to both sides. My final answer should be 5/3 x, y equals 5/3 x plus 6. So not only just answering it, but answering it in the right form. Okay? On the back, these questions say rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form if necessary. Y equals mx plus b. And that's what we're going to do right now. After that, you have a decision to make. Are they parallel, perpendicular, or neither? That's comparing the slopes. That's finding out what m is and seeing if they are the same, if they're opposite reciprocal, or if they're neither of those two things. All right, so let's do these one at a time. We're going to change this first equation, 2x minus 8y equals negative 32, into y equals mx plus b form. So the first thing I might do is subtract both sides by 2x. So let me show my work down here. Negative 8y would then be equal to, I like to write the x part first, so negative 2x minus 32. Then I would need to divide both sides by negative 8, all of it by negative 8. So that would be y equals negative 2 divided by negative 8, which would be 1/4, x. Negative 32 divided by negative 8 would be positive 4. The y-intercept, or the b term, does not really matter in this instance. What I know is that slope is 1/4. I'm also going to do the same thing for this 8x plus 2y equals 16. So I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. So over here I would have 2y. Let me do a different color. I would have 2y equal to negative 8x plus 16. Divide both sides by 2. The whole right side and whole left side. Now I have y by itself. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. 16 divided by 2 is positive 8. All right, what's important here are the slopes. Negative 4, you could think about it as negative 4 over 1 if you want. Negative 4 over 1 and positive 1 over 4 are opposite and reciprocals. They multiply to negative 1. This is a perpendicular set of lines. Okay, let's try that again with number 7. All right, I need to subtract the 2x from both sides to start the top one. I would be left with 5y equal to negative 2x minus 1. Divide both sides by 5. I would get y equals negative 2/5 x minus 1/5. All right, the slope of that one is negative 2/5. I need to find the slope of the other one and then use that to decide if it's perpendicular, parallel, or neither. So this one, all that's missing on the 10y problem is that I need to divide both sides by 10. So that one right away turns into y equals, so negative 4 divided by 10 x minus 20 divided by 10, which is just negative 2. Negative 4/10 simplifies into negative 2/5. So the slope of this one is also negative 2/5. So negative 2/5 equals negative 2/5. When the slopes are the same, we have parallel lines. Okay? The third one looks like a little bit of a trick, but y equals 3 is just a horizontal line through 3. So the line y equals 3 is a horizontal line through 3. The line x equals negative 2 is a vertical line through negative 2. Vertical lines and horizontal lines are always perpendicular. So if you get a y equals a number and an x equals a number, that's going to give you a perpendicular set of lines. Okay. Last one, the y's are almost all by themselves. This one would turn into, once you add 7x to both sides, y equals 7x plus 6. This one would turn into y equals, this time we're subtracting 7x from both sides, so negative 7x plus 8. 7 and negative 7 are not the same. They do not multiply to negative 1, which means they're not opposite reciprocal. This one is a neither problem. All right, like I said, starting at number 4 on this video are very much test type questions. So feel free to rewatch those, ask more questions about it, show up to elk time, understand those on the practice test, watch the practice test video. All those things will help you get a little bit better at these. Thanks for watching.